So moving on with the segment, we'll start with a fireside chat discussing Dr. Vaidya's growth with Shipyaari. We now proceed towards the fireside chat, which is on Dr. Vaidya's growth story with Shipyaari. For this fireside chat, we would love to have on stage Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Vishal Totla. Let's give him a big hand, ladies and gentlemen. He's a qualified chartered accountant, a seasoned business professional, an entrepreneur, and an investor with over 10 years of industry experience into retail, distribution, logistics, and supply chain management. And we would also like to have founder at Dr. Vaidya's venture lead at Verlinvest, Mr. Arjun Vaidya. Let's have them on the stage. Mr. Arjun Vaidya was the CEO at Dr. Vaidya's New Age Ayurveda. He's partnered with the $4 billion RP Sanjiv Goenka Group and has now been acquired by the group, making it one of India's first successful D2C exits. Let's give the gentleman a big hand. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. Good afternoon, all. It's a good day today. Very positive energy we are looking here. And all the budding entrepreneurs I am being meeting. I am getting the good energy. How about you, Arjun?
Yeah, I'm getting an amazing energy, and this place specifically is a special place for me. I was telling Nayan before I came up on stage, actually, that 2 years ago, or slightly more than 2 years ago, Amazon hosted Sambhav here. And it was Jan 2020, I think, just before the pandemic. And Jeff Bezos was on stage here, and he gave us an award. So it's a very special stage and a place for me, and I'm happy to be back here and share it with you guys.
Good. I have been a part of Sambhav, so I can really correlate to that.
But now I'm happier to be with Vishal Bhai on stage than Jeff Bezos.
Thank you. So Arjun, let's start with something about your journey, as in how did you start? You were into a corporate job earlier. So every business to start, there are different stages. Discovery stage, growth stage, scale stage. So as per your experience, and for our founders or entrepreneurs here sitting, what is your giveaway for them as to what they have to do at every stage and how to keep the zeal up to achieve that aim for what they have started with?
Yeah, look, I think ambition, enthusiasm, and excitement is sort of the DNA of any entrepreneur, right? So I think that goes without saying. But for me, quitting a corporate job actually was a story that had to do a lot with my family, right? And my background. So my last name, Vaidya, means Ayurvedic doctor. I come from a legacy of 150 years of Ayurveda. My grandfather and great-grandfather were Ayurvedic doctors. My dada cured me of asthma, actually. And so when I went to the US and I saw yoga being repackaged, right, with yoga mats, yoga gyms, yoga apparel, I remember calling my grandfather from campus and saying, it's amazing that yoga is global, but it's not so amazing that Indian companies didn't take yoga to the world. And so I told him, we can't let the same happen with Ayurveda. And 2013, I moved back to India. I worked 2.5 years in finance. I was fortunate to get a job at a private equity fund at the age of 21 and a half. And that's a profession that pays reasonably well. But when my dada passed, we had this rich legacy. We had these formulations. He cured me of asthma. I love cricket. I had to stop playing cricket because of my asthma. I started playing cricket again because I was cured. And so I remembered the promise I made to him. And I quit my job to take on this legacy. So other than ambition, enthusiasm, excitement, positivity that entrepreneurs have, I think purpose for an entrepreneur is really, really important. And I'll tell you why, right? So there are very tough times you'll face as a founder, right? Really, really tough times, right? For example, April 2020, I remember everything was shut, but Ayurveda had to stay open, right? I remember calling Nayan Bhai and saying, like, I have so many orders, I need to deliver these orders to the customer. He said, but all couriers are shut. I said, sir, I am in the warehouse packing these orders because we need to keep it going. Get me some courier service, right? And so I think that larger purpose of solving something bigger than yourself, that larger purpose of saying, hey, all my customers want this immunity boosting medicine right now, and I don't care if I have to unload a tempo, and I don't care if I have to pack the orders myself. those orders will leave my warehouse today and today.
That's the zeal to actually go about and make it big, right? So in the last session, somebody asked about their operations difficulty. So I'm sure while scaling up Dr. Vaidya's, you may have faced a lot of operational challenges, and also you are currently mentoring so many startups. And the story remains the same. Everybody faces different kind of operational challenges. So what, as per you, were the biggest challenges, and how a company like ours helped achieving the solution to it?
Yeah, so I think someone asked a question in the front about RTO, right? Correct. And I remember our order volume surging to like 5,000, 6,000, sometimes 10,000 orders a day during the COVID period. And that was great, right? As an entrepreneur, you're like, firstly, nobody's advertising. I'm doing ads, my ads are running at 20x ROI. Then I'm getting all these orders. I'm packing these orders, reaching home tired, but I'm saying, 10,000 orders aaj dispatch kiye. And then 3 days, 4 days later, you know, usually we'd get like a goni, like a sack of returns. I saw a truck come into my warehouse building, and I'm like looking at that truck saying, I hope there are just few returns for my company, and then saying, boss, एक sack नहीं, दो sack नहीं, तीन sack नहीं, चार, पाँच, छः, 10 sacks, पूरा truck में मेरा returns है, right? So I think for us as D2C entrepreneurs and as e-commerce entrepreneurs, as e-commerce founders, it's one thing to get the order, right? To acquire the customer. But in 2018, it was okay to take 15 days, 17 days to deliver order to Kashmir, to Imphal, to Shillong. Guwahati mein 7-8 दिन लग जाते तो ठीक था. Abhi, in the world we are living in today, with the Zeptos and the Instamarts and the Blinkits and the Amazon Primes, if you take more than 2 or 3 days to get the order to reach your customer, you're in deep trouble, right? And so I think while we all talk about brand, marketing, strategy, big picture, brand ambassadors, ATL, ops can kill you if you don't get it right. And today, ops can kill you even more because the customer is so mindful of service and the service they get, right? So there's one part about the unboxing experience, how you package the order, how it reaches a customer. Like when you go to a retail shop and you pay the bill, you have that dopamine secretion that I acquired this product. Similarly, for us as e-commerce founders, that's when the unboxing happens. But the entire experience, not just of logistics of delivery, the entire experience of post-order, what WhatsApp reaches you, when the order is shipped, how to track the order, when the order reaches. If the order is returned, what do you do and how do you react? That's absolutely critical, and I'll tell you why. Because my father is the father of an e-commerce entrepreneur. He knew I was running an e-commerce business. Until April 2020, he didn't place a single order online. Pandemic hit, he's now placed 50, 60 orders on Amazon. He eats quinoa pasta. So he went on his Instagram feed, saw a quinoa pasta brand, clicked on the ad, went to their D2C website, bought the quinoa pasta. 3 days later, he's sitting on the dinner table with us, he's saying, yaar, I ordered that quinoa pasta, the pasta still not reached me. I went to the company's website, I saw they are in Bombay, I called their customer service, I told them, you are in Bombay, I am in Bombay, why does it take 3 days for this order to reach you? And he's telling me, a person who's never ordered before, 1 year into ordering online, how can it take so long? I'm never going to order from this company again. So that shows the importance of logistics, of operations, of smooth operations. It gives you a beautiful customer experience. And I'll tell you that for all of you who are thinking about running your own e-commerce business or your brands, if ops goes wrong, right, and you need conflict resolution, customers get really angry, need conflict resolution, I would call them incessantly, like back to back. My customer has not got the order, they are calling me, they are complaining, my brand is getting screwed, all of these things, right? And so I think as a partner, whatever your business is, but specifically in logistics where it is very sensitive with customers today, you need someone you can connect with. You need someone you can have a conversation with. And we were fortunate to have that with Shipyaari, but whoever you work with, right? I think that connect, that conversation, that ability to resolve problems and that positive attitude is really important, because if it goes wrong, it can go really wrong.
True, true. As in, like Arjun said, it is easier, it takes a lot of things and efforts to bring orders. And if it is not getting delivered, your name, your brand authority, everything goes on for a toss. So definitely operations, if you're not delivering, you're not generating revenues, you're not earning profits. And ultimately, if those things are not being done, you're not growing up. So for scaling, as in what are your few tips for the entrepreneurs as to what they should look at?
Look, I think there is three parts to the scaling journey, right? The first part and the bare minimum is having a really exciting, differentiated product that works, because it's very easy for us as entrepreneurs, as founders, to get one order. But the second and the third order only happens when your product really gives customers that value. So that's the first part of the experience. The second part of the experience is the entire customer acquisition and marketing part of the experience, right? For that, you need to have a brand that resonates with customers. You need to have a conversion-friendly website. You need to have an acquisition channel that actually makes sense, right? And this is when I talk a lot about the importance of understanding unit economics, the P&L of every order, to know that, okay, my average order value is 700 rupees, my gross margin is 50%, I make 350 rupees margin on that order. I can't spend more than 200 rupees to acquire the customer because 50, 70 rupees goes in logistics. Understanding that entire P&L and then finding a customer acquisition channel that works in your P&L infrastructure to give you that CAC or customer acquisition cost. That's number two. And number three is seamless ordering experience for the customer, right? And what allows us to have seamless ordering experience today, right? I operated a business in 2017-18, that's when I started, when there was no WhatsApp automation, there was no multi-city warehousing, there was very little order management systems that were sophisticated. Today you have access to all of that, right? You have all of these amazing tools from order management, warehouse management system. You can actually think of having warehouses in 4 or 5 cities, even for your own D2C website, which Amazon does or a Flipkart does for their own platforms. So you can actually get an order to reach a customer in Calcutta much faster or in Guwahati much faster if you have a regional hub, even though you're based in Bombay as a company. And then the post-ordering experience as well, right? Using the WhatsApp channel effectively, using the calling channel effectively, using the SMS, email, push notification channel effectively, not too much, not too little to bring the customer back. I think all of these things put together will work as a flywheel to give you scale. The good news is that post-COVID, there are a lot more customers online. The not so good news is that with lots more customers, there's lots more brands, lots more competition, and customers are expecting much, much more from you as a brand than they were expecting from me in 2017. And so, you have to do all of these things right to get things going. In 2017, I took 1 year to get from 0 to 50 orders a day and to understand the entire e-commerce landscape. What's Facebook, what's Google, Shopify or WooCommerce, warehousing, logistics, customer service. Today, you have 8 weeks. If you take more than 8 weeks to understand how an e-commerce business works, there is someone who will do it faster than you.
Right. So, post-purchase experience is basically very important, as in e-commerce, since customer is not visiting a physical shop, so you have to keep your customers updated at every stage. If you are not keeping, if you or your partner is not updating the customer at each step, that where your order is, when it will get delivered, or whether there are any problems with the order, then the chances of getting the orders returned increases. So definitely one should always look at what kind of communication channels we are using and keeping our customers updated. That is the whole experience that is we can give in terms of digital, since it's not physically available on your platform that way. So Arjun, going on the last segment of our fireside chat, you are being mentoring to a lot of new startups, new challenges every day. So what, as per you, are the innovative ways of catering and making the last mile experience, last mile delivery experience better in terms of, so that the revenue of our sellers increases, their profit increases, their brand name, their brand authority increases. So what as per you should be the new innovative services with respect to last mile services?
Yeah, I think it's a important question, existential problem for all of us to think about today, right? So there is a stat I read somewhere that for every increased 24 hours in turnaround time that you have for your order, there is a 11% higher chance for the RTO, right? So think about that. Every day you take longer to deliver the order to that customer, your RTO probability increases significantly, right? And so if I was to think about a beautiful post-order experience for customers, I would say three things. One, the moment the order is placed, find ways to communicate with that customer through email, SMS, and WhatsApp for the customer to be able to track the order. If you guys ever place orders on Swiggy, that's an amazing experience, because even if the order is 5 minutes delayed, they will let you know, right? So that's one. Post-order, communicate with the customers. Two, the experience of the customer getting that order, the packaging, the box, the note, the conversation that you have with that, right? So I remember I ordered a pair of chappals, I got in a tin box, I opened that tin box, there were these beautiful chappals with a message from the founder. I told 10 people about that company. I'm not invested in that company, but I told 10 people about that company. So unboxing experience is number two. And number three, right? Use all the tools you have to get the order to the customer as fast as you can, right? Whether it's the right OMS or WMS, warehouse management, order management system, to get the order dispatched as fast as possible, whether it's shared warehousing services or sort of multi-city warehousing services to have your hub closest to the customer, it's use of quick commerce type logistics services to get next day, same day delivery. All of these things lead to something eventually called customer delight. That customer gets a more than expected experience from your brand. Once the customer gets that, they remember your brand, they're loyal to your brand, they keep coming back. And so, while we talk about ads and front end, I think logistics, warehousing, back end operations, which is what my wife used to do at Dr. Vaidya's, as you guys remember, is the untold hero here for you, and is something that all of us should, it may not be the most sexy thing about running a D2C brand, but for me, it's one of the most, that's my advice on ops.
Thank you, Arjun. As in, with Shipyaari, we are definitely working on many things to ensure that the orders to your customer reaches in time or maybe before time. And for that, we are building up a lot of networking and networks with respect to in-city fulfillment centers and fulfillment centers across the cities, so that you store your inventory near to your users. You have to identify what kind of orders you get and what SKU runs the best. You store those SKUs near to your customers. The early it reaches the customer, the more the revenue you get. So definitely we are working on it, and yeah, I have taken all the notes about your innovative suggestions. Anybody have any questions for Arjun? Can we provide mic to that guy? You can come here.
If you can just raise your hand once again. Yeah, he'll get you a mic.
Hi Arjun. So I have my own D2C brand. It goes by the name of Indalo, and we are into hair care category. So as you mentioned, that's totally correct that in today's time there's just 8 weeks. You know, if you're not able to crack that, then it becomes a little tough. Now during these tough times when there is a lot of competition that's happening all around, innovation of product is one thing. Then, the post-product experience is another thing. But trying to do all of these things, still, because of the competition and because of the big funded, businesses, it becomes a lot difficult for brands like, bootstrapped brands to kill that competition, maybe, reach at a certain level where you have enough funds to, explore other things. So brands who are stuck in such scenarios, do you suggest these brands should start exploring global, global territories, or we should try and build ourselves in India first and then probably explore out of India? So what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a very good question. And my first answer, even though I am now a professional investor, is that raising money is not the answer to all your problems, right?
Right.
So that's my first sort of answer to the first part of your question. On going global, I have a podcast on D2C, and I did a podcast with Harsh Mariwala. And I asked him, sir, why aren't more Indian brands global? And he said one very interesting thing, right? He said, you can go global for things you are world class in, or things you're offering something that's better than what's available in that country. If your hair care product you believe is better than everything available in the US or the UAE or the UK or any market you may go to, and there is a gap, only then go global. Don't go global because you're struggling in India and you think the US is the answer. That's not the way to look at it. But if you feel there is a problem there, then go there, because trust me, sitting in India, operating a business in the US, it's very, very difficult. You're much better off here because you know the market, right? I didn't know the market in the US, and I got growth in India, so I focused in India. So that's my advice on going global. But there are brands like Vadam, the Ayurveda Experience, Skillmatics have done an exceptional job globally, but there was a reason for them to be there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Vishal Bhai, for inviting me, and the entire Saral team for having me here. It's been a pleasure to speak to you, and all the best to all of you as we see all your brands being built and see India go to the $100 billion D2C economy that we want it to be. Thank you, guys.